Hello and welcome back to the MJM Grand Sports Talk Show. I'm Matt Shalloe, joined alongside by Ryan McSpedon and Chris Neverette. How you boys doing today? Good. Had some technical difficulties there to kick off the show, but we're here. The screen's kind of freaking out, but I like it.
That's all right.
Shout out producer Sites.
Sites got to work.
Ryan, how you doing today, buddy?
I can't complain.
Happy Thursday, right?
Yes, happy Thursday. Almost Friday.
8-10 tournament day for some teams, not the ones that.
Yeah. George Washington, George Mason currently playing.
Not the teams that qualify for a double bye, though. The Bonnies do not play today. They'll play tomorrow at 11, like we said the other day. But what do you say we start out with some National Basketball Association here?
I like it.
So this morning, it said that the Celtics and Hornets are two of the teams that are interested in Magic All-Star center Nikola Vucevic. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? We kind of talked about Drummond to the Hornets, saying that they should get a, well, they don't really even have. Well, they got Hayward. They got, LaMelo Ball's been playing good. They don't really have anything down low. You think about, they have Zeller, PJ Washington, Bismack. Yeah, so I mean, we talked about Andre Drummond to the Hornets. I think Vucevic would be kind of interesting. I mean, he's an all-star this year, at the top of his game. Another team interested is the Celtics, and they obviously were another team that we're talking about Andre Drummond for. Another team that needs a big, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think he gets traded?
Like worst case, it's going to be Marcus Smart, right? And you know how important he is to the defense of that team, and they've obviously been struggling. In terms of the Hornets, who are you're gonna have to give up? Probably, I'm trying to think, is Bismack's deal close enough in size that would fit? And then you're gonna have to give picks up for that. And I don't know if that really does it for them. You know what I mean?
A lot. I mean, he's obviously very good. The Magic, not nearly as good as they were. Well, not even like they were that good, but I mean, they were a playoff team with a losing record last year. But they're kind of a little bit out of it.
They've had to deal with injuries, obviously. Yeah. So
yeah, as it stands right now, they're out of it. And I think it'd be done for them. I could see them trading maybe like an Aaron Gordon or something, but I think someone that you hold on to. I wouldn't trade them.
Yeah, I don't see the point in them trading unless they want to absolutely rebuild. And then honestly, at that rate, you trade both Gordon and Vucevic.
Yeah, I feel like they've been kind of on, fighting an uphill battle in terms of rebuild for quite some time now, with the occasional
8 seed appearance. Yeah.
Other than that, they haven't been good, obviously, since really Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
It's fair to say, and I don't think you want to go down that path again. I think the two you have, Boone and Vucevic, so we're talking about, I think are fine. I think you try to build around that, but then again, they've been trying to do that for years. They're still here with guys like Jonathan Isaac, who's hurt. Markel Fulton brought in, got hurt. But it's not like it's their fault, like we said. But I would just continue on that path and not trade him. But if he does get traded, and it's not anyone else, you see, it's tough with the money situation. Like you can say, a lot of teams don't have the cap for the door. Someone like him coming up a lot, so it's kind of hard to predict. But any other fits you guys get teams that need a center, I guess.
I mean, there are plenty of teams, but it's hard to fit that salary in without giving up so much. I mean, the guy's an all-star for a reason. Granted, I don't really think that he should have got in, but that's a whole other discussion. So
that's a review. Well, what about you, Ryan? What do you think?
The Celtics is a very interesting fit because, as we've mentioned quite a few times on the show, they do have the need for a center, and they are hovering around 500. I believe they're a game over right now. They play the Raptors tonight in their final game before the All-Star break, and we've seen, especially with injuries and with COVID, like if Tatum and Brown aren't playing, and even if one of them is, if you have a guy who can rebound, that's a big-time weakness for the Celtics, and we've seen them get beat defensively numerous times, and just having that presence, it's not the same. They don't really have that pick-and-roll game, and they're not getting as many second chance shots as they've had in the past, and I would say because of where the Celtics are in the standings, they make the most sense. The Hornets, it's an interesting fit because they basically the same deal as the Celtics, But I definitely feel like Vucevic is going to get traded because, as you said, the Magic really are not in it. I know that there's 10 teams this year with the play-in tournament, but Magic are one of those teams that they don't really have a chance at making it right now. So I do expect Vucevic to be dealt. Now the question is, do the Magic deal him? Is it best deal, or is it because we've seen in the past, especially with all-star caliber players, some teams they don't want to have to face him in the future, and they go, let's send him out west. We only see him twice a year instead of having to play him potentially 4 times a year, maybe more if we make the playoffs. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. But I would expect he's traded, and I would say the Celtics are the favorite. But watch out because, like I said, that Western Conference presence, like the Magic, they could be one of those teams that we don't want to face him. We don't want to have to deal with him in the future. So if there's teams in the West, I've always said I don't think the Clippers. I know I've said in the past that Kristaps makes sense for them. It would be interesting. We've seen it. The Nets did it with Harden. Like, how can the Clippers make their cap hit? How would that work if they were interested in a guy like Vucevic or really any contender for that case? Like, how can they make the cap flexibility work? But it's definitely something to monitor here in the coming weeks.
It'll be interesting. Like we said, bigger things this weekend with the All-Star game Sunday.
Yes.
Maybe a trade will be in the works.
Now, did you see the report that the Celtics are also interested in Jeremy Grant as well?
That's kind of interesting because I don't know. How many years did he sign for?
3.
Detroit 3.
Yeah, for I think it was like $66 million. It's a little bit more than 20 a year, but as a Jeremy Grant fan, that would upset me a little bit because he's going to Boston. He's going back to the same type of role that he had when he was in Denver, primarily focusing on defense. He's not going to average 25 a night if he goes to Boston. You just can't have that when you have Tatum and Brown. So
yeah, that'd be interesting. But I think they do need, if they were to make a move, they need more of a center.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of type, like we're talking about, someone like Vucevic or Drummond or something like that. And he helps because he can score and play great defense, but I don't think he's really what they need. Like, I feel like be a little bit more. They need defensive help and rebounding help, and the defensive help shows with Marcus Smart when he's not on the floor. They're obviously a much better team. They went through that long losing streak and ultimately they were at the 10 for a minute, weren't they?
Yeah, but I mean it's so jumbled up.
Yeah, no, it's not like it matters. I mean, like the Knicks are a team they could lose tonight. They go down to like 8th. They could win. They're back in 4th. Yeah, like it's like all those teams are separated. Like the Knicks the other day, they were in 4th, right? And they were just a game and a half out of being 10th. So it's like
exactly.
Yeah,
I think I was looking at the standings last night. The 4 through 10 seeds, they all have like the same amount of losses. The only difference is games played. Some obviously with the COVID going on, some teams have played more than others, but all those teams are hovering around the same loss mark. And if it's not, I think it's all 18 losses, and if it's not 18, then another has 19. Like they're all basically right there. They all have the same amount of losses, and it's interesting with Jeremy Grant because they spoke about watching the Knicks Pistons game Sunday night. The Knicks broadcast spoke about Grant, and they said like the whole reason why he took the Pistons deal was he knew this most likely isn't going to be a contending team, but he wasn't looking for that. He wanted a team where he can be able to play to his strengths and score, and he has he could do what he wants here. He gets his minutes, he has his opportunities, and it showed with how great he's played. And they said that was really the driving factor in his free agency is he could have went to a contender if he wanted to and take on that role again, but he wanted to be more of a scorer. He wanted to get more minutes, and that was really his whole deal with signing with the Pistons. So I feel like he may, even though it's a tough situation over there right now, I want to stay there, and seems like he would because that's what he wanted. He just wanted the chance to get his minutes and score more, and he's doing that right now with the Pistons.
See if he gets moved, but we'll have to see. Celtics are a team I definitely think that will make a move the way they've been struggling, but we'll have to see. Meanwhile, last night, Utah Jazz lost for the second time in a row, which I'm guessing would have to be the first time all season, right? They only got 6 losses. I'd assume it's the first time they've lost back-to-back. 7 now, I believe. But they lose to Philly. And Donovan Mitchell had some comments.
As he should.
Following the game. He ended up getting ejected 30 seconds to go in overtime. I believe he had 2 technical calls, both coming in that overtime period. And he claims that the game was taken from them by the officials. He just completely sounded off, saying, "Now, I'm never willing to blame a ref, to blame an official. I could say I could have done more. This is getting out of hand. There have been games like this that we've won. There have been games like this that we've lost. But the whole refereeing stuff, we're nice. We don't complain. Like, we don't get frustrated. We fight through things. And the fact that we continually get, like, screwed in a way by this, you know?"
Yeah.
A lot more expletives, I got. But nice, man. We don't repeat that stuff.
Now, was the second technical, was that when he was arguing the call on Gobert when Embiid went up with the putback with about 30 seconds left?
I believe so,
yes. Yeah. That one was fair. I mean, obviously he was lying because there's not an NBA player in the league that doesn't sit there and complain to the refs after every call.
Definitely.
There are some guys that are worse than others, but that's false. He complains every single time, just like everyone else. Whether or not he's as loud about it as a guy like Luka. Luka's pretty bad. Is a different story, but I don't like the fact that the officials kind of put the game in their own hands just because he was trying to argue a call. I think that the officials from time to time put more of their own handprint on the game than they should. And I mean, you even saw it the other night with Montrezl Harrell. He yelled "and one" after he thought he was fouled taking a floater, and they teed him up for that. So. Or
Devin Booker, the bounce of the ball.
Yeah.
At the referee, like, okay, didn't warrant an ejection. But
Who
I was telling you
against.
Huh?
Who was that game against? The Devin Booker.
The Lakers.
Yeah. Who's on the Lakers? Mm-hmm. Mr. NBA himself.
Well, he didn't know. I was telling you the other day, though, it seems like all
the
these
refs always side with them.
Well, all these national televised games, Lakers games aside, it seems like the refs are just always trying to do too much. Like, it's like they try to steal the show. They know they're on national TV, and they just try to, like, out-ref themselves. Like, it's like relax. Like, the difference between watching that game, before that we watched the Knicks-Spurs game, just a regular, game on MSG, whatever. But then you watch that game, and everything's getting called. It's like, I just think that there's a clear difference. And then obviously you see it in the playoffs when all the games are on TV. But I just feel like there's a clear difference in officiating in the games that are on TV as opposed to not. But I don't know. No. I think the Booker ejection was cheap.
I agree.
Personally, with Mitchell's ejection, I thought that the Jazz really didn't have a chance to win that game. They didn't really, it was hard for them to get a basket in overtime for the most part. And once Embiid hit his free throws, it was a different story. I don't think it was a foul on Gobert there, frankly. I just think that Embiid actually couldn't get up high enough to put the ball in the hoop. And just because Gobert had a hand on him and he fell down, they called the foul. And then, of course, Mitchell had to use some choice words and get real agitated, and he got teed up. So, but I
also feel like – I'm sorry, Chris. You go.
I also don't understand how – honestly, I think that it should be, if you're going to give Mitchell a tech for complaining about the call, you should just double tech Embiid for calling for the tee halfway down the floor after the foul.
Yeah. Wait, say that again.
So if you're going to give Mitchell the tee for complaining about the call, you got to give Embiid a tee for, motioning halfway up the court, asking for it from the refs.
Yeah. I mean, let them do their job.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't need your assistance. But another game last night. James Harden and his Nets.
One last thing about these officials. Right. I feel like also they need to have some leeway with these players because when it's a competitive game, these are the top seeds in their conference. It's an overtime. The refs gotta sometimes you keep the whistle away. You don't gotta blow the whistle all the time. If a player loses their cool. Depends to the extent
if he's cursing at you and you give him a warning, he won't stop. Okay, but sometimes the refs, like a call like that, can cost them the game, and I think the refs need to realize it's competitive. It's overtime. These are the top 2 seeds in each conference. Both these guys want to win bad, and I feel like that's something we've seen a lot, especially as you mentioned in these national games. Like realize competitiveness sometimes, and I think they let their egos get in the way, and it's become a big problem.
let's see if it continues. Like, I mean, maybe the more they get called out like this by players after the game, I mean, get fined, whatever. But I don't know. Maybe the refs take notice and kind of calm it down, but I doubt it because, like I said, the players get fined. So, like, what do the refs care, really? And they're still getting paid, still doing their job. Another game yesterday. James Harden and the Nets going to Houston. James Harden returns with 29 points, 10 rebounds, 14 assists. Nets cruise to a 132-114 win, and the Rockets have now lost 13 in a row. Not ideal, fair to say. Nets at the top of their game. Rockets at absolute rock bottom. So, two teams obviously trending in quite different directions. It kind of got close. Well, not close, but it was within 10, where previously in the game it had been over 20. But that was like 5 minutes left. So they kind of crawled back in. But ultimately end up losing by 18. James Harden down in performance. What do you guys think about his return to H-Town?
He just did exactly what you expect him to do. Went out there and, decided to just dominate the ball the entirety of the game and went out and got a triple-double. Yeah. I didn't think there was much to take out of that. I mean, for a fact that this Rockets team isn't – as much as you try to sit there and say as a GM or a coach you're trying to win now, that's just not the case when you trade a guy like James Harden in the first place. So I didn't expect the downside to be this bad, but frankly –
I want John Wall to trade again. Because he's actually playing well.
Wall should get traded.
Oladipo should get traded.
You can't with that contract for John Wall at least. Yeah, the only contract you could really trade him for is Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, really.
And all of them took their turn in Houston.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I feel bad. He's playing well. I watched them the other night when they played the Cavs, and I think he had like 18 in the first quarter, ended up finishing like 28. They lost, though, obviously. They've lost twice to the Cavs, actually, over that 13-game stretch.
24 points at the half.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Wall can still play. He's done really well off the injury, which is a surprise. But it's too bad that he's sitting out in Houston.
How about that other triple-double last night? TJ McConnell, the double-digit steals.
He had 8 at the end of the first quarter and 9 at the half.
That's crazy. They beat the Cavs last night by 3.
One other thing I want to mention. My dad brought it up to me just now. How stupid of it for the Rockets to mention retiring Harden's jersey now.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I don't.
Well, you know what?
I don't know what's going on.
The Nuggets messed up. They gave Jokic 15, so what do you want? I kind of like it.
Oh, how Chris feels about that number.
I've never thought about that, actually, how Jokic wears 15.
Yeah. So,
different jerseys, so I just never really had the picture, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. That's a good point. But, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of stupid.
I don't think there's been some other Nick to wear number 7 yet.
Oh, I mean, well aware that one's going to be in the rafters regardless.
Fair to say. How about some college basketball news? Colin Gillespie, Chris said before the game, Villanova superstar for his MCL out for the season. Tough.
Yeah, now you think that completely ruins their chances. Now the question is, how early do you think that they could be upset because Gillespie's out?
What are they going to be, like a 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
second game,
something like that.
You think they lose their second game? Yeah, I guess it
really
depends on their seeding.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I like them to get to the second weekend. I can see Sweet 16, but they were probably an Elite 18 before, just with, Jay Wright, great coach, obviously, been there before. They still got him, leading things, but obviously you take a player like that off the court, it's tough, a lot tougher to win. That's how it goes. But we'll have to see. Can't wait for it to start. We're going to take our first break here, and when we get back, we're going to talk a little hockey and a little football. Nothing major in football, but a couple minor things to catch up on. So, yeah, we're going to take our first break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the MJM Grand Sports Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. We'll be right back. Welcome back. MJM Grand Sports Talk Show. Matt Shalloe, Ryan McSpedon, and Chris Neverette. Let's talk some hockey. One team in particular.
Oh, Chris loves hockey.
Chris loves hockey and Chris loves baseball. So, like,
I love hockey.
What did you just say?
Chris just shouted hockey.
Loves hockey.
He's a
And
Pens fan, by the way, for those who don't know.
he's not going to like my lock of the night down later, but we'll save that for then. Maple Leafs. They played Edmonton last night for the third game in a row. They outscored them 13-1 over their 3 games. They won 4-0, 3-0, and then last night 6-1. They're currently the best team in the NHL.
Domination.
Yeah, that's domination. I probably expect more of the same over the next 3 games between the Sabres and Islanders. That's a story for another day. The Maple Leafs currently sit atop the NHL at 18-4-2. That's good for 38 points. Is this the year the Leafs are finally able to return to hoisting the Stanley Cup for the first time since 1967? What did you just yell at me?
Sites just laughed. And honestly, I think I gotta agree with them. They choke every time. I can't until I see it. How can I say yes?
I mean, this is just utter domination, though.
I know, but they've had talent the previous years too, and it's always
Okay, but now that they have an easier path to get there, though, in that division, they're not going to have to play. They don't play the Boston. They're not in the no more Metropolitan with the Lightning, and
yeah.
I mean, they still see the Canadians, obviously, and Winnipeg's a decent team. They're playing well. Edmonton, I thought was a decent team. Evidently not compared to the Maple Leafs, as 13-1 over 3 games. That's tough to do. That's hard to do.
Okay.
Tonight they play Vancouver. I don't think that's going to slow them down. I think they'll be fine getting there, but then when do you pull divisions?
I was about to say. So, are we talking about can they make the Final Four, or are we talking about actually winning a Stanley Cup? Because
I'll say
4 they can.
I'll say get to the Cup final. They haven't been in that since like 2000 either. So you think when they get to the semis and play, because you play your own division, right? First two, like it'll be 1 versus 4,
Yes.
2 versus 3, and then the next round you'll play either 2 or 3, whoever won if they win.
Mm-hmm.
So so you're dealing with the same teams all year. So then once you get to the conference final, whatever, not really a conference final because there's not really conferences right now. That's when they'll have to play someone else. And I think they can win. I'll take my chances. I mean, they'll be coming in hot. Well, both teams will be, but I don't know. Depends on who it is. But I don't know. I mean, this team's good. But yeah, it is the same talent they've had in the past. Tavares, Matthews.
Well, the other thing is they've had talent for relatively long time, and they just never seem to get it done. Like Sped said, they always just choke it. I guess based off this format, now is as good a time as any. But
because I think it's safe to assume, normal format, normal season schedules are the same. They're not 18-4-2 right now.
Yeah,
Having to play Boston and Tampa and things like
Yes.
that, and the Sabres, of course. Can't forget.
100%.
Yeah, the Sabres, they're really good. But that's fair to say. The Leafs might get to the semis, but won't make it to the finals. Their biggest threat in the North is Winnipeg. Okay, yeah, that's fair to say. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the standings in the division look like right now, but I think that's fair to assume. Winnipeg's been playing well.
Edmonton thought they were good.
Evidently not.
I mean, you still obviously can't hold anything against Lightning either. I understand they haven't performed at the same level as Toronto, but
No, they're still right. They're currently 15-4-1, so pretty close.
Sites.
What do you say now?
Sites is very vocal.
Yeah, Edmonton's so overrated. Yeah, Winnipeg right now is in second. And then Edmonton third, which, like I said, breezed by. Montreal's in fourth. They were playing really well. Obviously, lost those 3 games to Ottawa, fired their coach. That's how that went. Then you got Calgary in fifth, Vancouver in sixth, and then Ottawa. That's just beating it all. But they have more points than the Sabres, so I will not say anything. But yeah, no, I think they should breeze through this division easily. But that's just not saying much. And then the Lightning, like Chris said, they're 15-4. So they've played 4 less games actually than Toronto, and they're in second place. Toronto's played 24 games, Edmonton 25. Everyone else is at 19 or 20. But the Canadian division's also hasn't had any cancellations because whatever they're doing up there works.
yeah.
As it has for most of the last year. But I don't know. I think they can get to the final.
I mean, they could.
No, they'll probably end up losing to Winnipeg.
Those demons first, and until I see it, I'm going to say no.
They'll probably end up losing to Winnipeg and won't even get to see it. But who knows? All right, when we talk some football, make Chris happy.
I mean, currently, we'll just
Yes.
finish with this. Currently, in terms of futures, they're both The Maple Leafs and the Lightning are both tied at plus 500. So,
Big bad guy, Chris.
well, no, I'm just saying.
Big look at the odds guy. All right. So, yeah, Ryan, you can talk about your Jets and their situation. Bit of a situation.
Yesterday, Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh held a press conference, and Joe Douglas basically reiterated what he's been saying since his end of the season presser. He said that Darnold is a dynamic player in this league with unbelievable talent, but he said that for teams that are calling about Darnold, he will pick up the phone, he will answer every call. And that's different from what he said last, I want to say October or November, when he said that Darnold is their franchise guy and there's few guys you don't answer the phone for. And he basically said Darnold was one of them. And now he's admitting he's picking up the phone and he's weighing all the options. So with that being said, what do you think happens with Sam Darnold, and what is the Jets' plan for their quarterback situation in 2021?
Looks like they're drafting it too, right?
It's what it's looking like if Houston doesn't answer the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I still want Watson, and there's no reason why the deal can't be done. But it seems like Houston.
Well, there is a reason
wants to drag this out.
Houston doesn't want to trade him. That's your reason why.
Seems like Houston wants to drag this out. So
I just
that's on them.
Go retire. It's okay. They don't care. I wouldn't trade him either. I like it.
You like the fact they're not answering phone calls or anything?
I mean, yeah.
Why? Just
if he wants to be a diva, be a diva.
Be a diva. Have you seen what that team has done?
I don't blame him, but I don't know.
Grant, you know what?
It's not the Texans since Bill O'Brien traded. O'Brien trading DeAndre Hopkins started all this. Did it not?
Yeah, but he signed the extension after that. So
Okay,
you know
true.
what? Some of it is kind of on Watson at the same time, knowing how bad that organization is and deciding to still commit to them long term.
To the Texans.
Yeah.
Just get Watson.
That's fine with me too.
If he goes anywhere else, Miami. But I don't think Miami's ready to trade Tua just yet. I don't think they should be.
No, I don't think so either. I mean,
but okay, like Watson, okay, that obviously changes things a little, but I don't know.
Hey, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with them dragging this out, but obviously they have till the draft pretty much, because it's not like they trade him after the draft. Like if you're going to trade him, it's going to be before April 22nd or whatever day the draft starts. And
I really just don't like picking at that second spot. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, if anyone you want, Trevor Lawrence, it's a good spot.
Yeah, I don't know. Because
would you rather pick three? What's the difference?
Well, no, I'm saying because you have to, if you're going to pick a quarterback at 2, you have to trade Sam before it, because guess what? If you pick Zach Wilson at 2, what are you going to get Darnold for? A 5th round pick?
Yeah, obviously it does.
You know what I mean? Fourth or a 5th. That's the issue I have with it. If you're going to have to keep that pick, and then, I mean,
you trade him to Washington. Do you think you get pick 19 for him, or do you think you get the second round?
No.
Some people think he's going for a late first. I mean, at first,
I say a second round.
I don't think so.
Second round is the best they could get right now, but they have to show their hand soon, because, as Chris said, if you draft Wilson or even if you get Watson, then you lose all of his value. So
you saw it with
6 months. Now they're going to have to do something. I think it's trade Darnold. I think Darnold's time's done.
Chris wants to speak.
You saw it with Arizona with Josh Rosen. They drafted Kyler, and then they had to trade him for a 4th to Miami. Not that you were going to – I don't know exactly what you would have gotten for Rosen at that time, but if you would have traded him before the draft, you would have gotten more.
That's fair to assume. I think Darnold's going to Washington, though.
Think so?
Originally I said Minnesota, but their GM said today.
Kirk's their guy.
Which, I mean, that never really goes well. Teams say that's what the Rams said about Goff, and much like Josh Rosen and the Cardinals, and then he got traded, obviously. But I mean, I think Kirk puts up these numbers. Like this year, their offense was not the problem as much as it was the defense. But then you run into the problem
if they didn't have the 0-5 start, it would have been a totally different season. So
you run into the problems of Kirk in big games. Obviously, he won that playoff game in New Orleans 2 years ago, but other than that, he doesn't even win on prime time. So it's like
I just don't think. I think Kirk gets you to a certain point. I just don't think he moves the needle enough to do.
He's like a good average quarterback. He's above average, but like I don't know. A lot of his stats also come when they're down by a lot too, so it's kind of hard to evaluate. But yeah, so originally I thought Sam was going to be a Viking backup for maybe a year and then figure out
You did say that.
what they do with Cousins. But I think right now it's Washington because, well, in my mock I do have Washington taking Mac Jones at 19, but if they get Darnold, obviously it doesn't happen. And I think that's where he goes for maybe a second round pick. Should it be before the draft, obviously.
There's part of me that wants to keep Sam if they're at 2.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, and draft one of the guy who's going to come in here and be probably one of the best tackles in football right away, and Penei Sewell.
Oh, give me a break.
And
You
like
kidding me? Him and Becton? Go ahead.
and Becton's father.
Yeah, Becton's father on the inside.
Fathers for the D-line.
That's a house. But I mean, yeah, I could see that too. And then, like I was saying last night, and then you go out and try to throw. I'd throw excess money at someone like Allen Robinson to bring him in, and you obviously have to.
Be careful with that word, excess money.
Okay, excess. I mean, like, how much do you think Allen Robinson should get
Joe
paid?
Douglas is not throwing money at people. I can tell already from his style that's not really his style.
Was he just going to put all that cap room in his pocket?
Well, no, but
They're going to
Douglas-
tag May.
I have a
wants
certain
out.
price
May's
for
out.
you. I'm going to get you at my price, maybe a little over it if I think you're good enough, but I don't think he's going to overspend for it. I don't know. I get that feeling from him in his first few years here. And
Okay, what if you keep Sam? They screw the lineman. Try to no, because it's you have to build the
no
line
more
through the
Sam.
draft. You have to build the line. You're not going to be able to sign a tackle. I
No.
was going to say draft Devonta Smith too, because then obviously get a receiver on a cheaper contract than what you'd have to pay Robinson, but you're not going to get a tackle like Penei Sewell. Like I think if they don't draft a quarterback, it's going to be Penei Sewell, and they're going to go from there. And try to sign receiver. Maybe try to sign Aaron Jones for running back. I know the running back contract with the Jets with Le'Veon Bell didn't work out, but it doesn't mean Aaron Jones won't.
I don't know how
What about,
much how much you're going to give Aaron Jones though either.
Yeah, running back's really tough.
I mean, everyone knows. Everyone knows the only running back that
Who's playing running back then? You're not going into the season with a Michael P. Ryan as the starter, are you?
I
Oh,
hope-
granted, he hasn't really gotten a shot, but
No,
like,
but
I
they're
don't know.
not gonna pay a guy like Aaron Jones.
Maybe you draft one in like the second round, or maybe you draft Najee Harris at 19. But I think he's a Steeler in my book. Steeler at 22. Sign James Conner.
no.
Well, I mean, you can pay.
No, I don't care. I'd rather draft another running back in the 3rd round.
The running backs are found
Yeah,
too.
so I
like
agree.
that.
Rounds 3 and 4, unless you're the Bills with like Zach Moss and Singletary. But they might still work out. You don't know. But what were you gonna say, Ryan? Something's on the tip of his tongue.
Oh, you guys brought it up to me. What do you guys think? He said Juju and Sam run it back to the USC days.
I think Juju's a good fit there. I've said that. You guys don't agree.
I don't.
Chris doesn't like Juju because he dances. Like, well, sorry for having fun, right? Having fun.
I just.
Okay, they lost to the Bengals. It wasn't his fault.
I just don't. I don't know. I personally don't like Juju. If anything, I take Allen Robinson and AJ Brown.
Well, yeah,
over, so
I think Allen Robinson's
Chris
much
loves
better.
the Corvette.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's all Chris does.
Okay, Chris, if Juju doesn't dance to Corvette, do you like him? Is that why you don't like him?
no, it's not that necessarily. It's just
He's a little weird. He's out there these days.
yeah.
I think he dyed his hair purple.
I
Blue.
thought
Blue.
Blue. It was blue. It's all right.
Sorry, I knew it was some exotic color. My bad. Getting my rainbow confused. But I think Juju would be nice. I like Sam. But I think they take Zach Wilson. I think he's going to go to Washington. But I do like the route you're going. I like that.
I mean, why don't you protect the guy? Give him one more chance.
Okay,
No.
but then what if he?
Then you got LaFleur at OC. And you got Solomon manning the defense.
All right,
Odds are the Jets. Honestly, there's a chance that they get Richard Sherman. Granted, he's very old, but you get him for
I
a
think they're
year.
going to get Richard
I want
Sherman.
Richard Sherman.
A year or two, you get Sherman.
Say they don't
Yeah,
draft Zach
defense.
Wilson. Where does he go then? Does that change absolutely everything in Miami? Do they say, "Oh, this guy's here, and screw this"? No, don't.
I
Okay.
don't think so, but
What about a team like Atlanta at 4 that might take a quarterback? I personally don't think they should just
I
yet
think they
because
should go defense.
and they owe Matt Ryan so much money, like it wouldn't make sense. And then you got the Bengals at 5. Okay, they're not going to take quarterback. What about the Eagles at 6 now? You have
I
Hurts,
mean-
but now Zach Wilson all of a sudden sitting there. All the research you did, does that just go out the window in the heat of the moment and you take him instead? Like how does
The rumors are there that they're at least, feeling the market for a quarterback, but I don't see why they do it. I feel like that's frankly kind of pointless.
Well, I mean, what's the guy name? The guy they hired, the OC from the Colts, the nice little Italian guy.
Sirianni.
Sirianni. I mean, Sirianni's coming into Hurts. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like he feels obligated to play him. Like, I always feel bad. Like, that's what happened with Rosen. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury came in. Rosen wasn't his guy. It's like you're kind of auditioning all over again, and obviously he got moved. So, like, there's no sense of loyalty to Jalen Hurts. They don't have to play him. Like, he was drafted by Doug Peterson, and he's obviously gone. So Doug Peterson wanted to play him. If this guy wants to come in and take his own quarterback at 5, or at 6, he's going to go ahead and do it. And I think there's a chance of that, especially if the Jets do go the lineman route and he sits there at 6. Because, like I said, I don't think he goes.
Hey, you said it yourself hundreds of times. Sam hasn't had any protection.
I think maybe they go with Sam. Zach Wilson maybe goes 4 to but he's not going 3. He's not going 5, obviously, to the Bengals. So he'd be there for the Eagles. And Zach Wilson could be an Eagle. What are the 2 options?
Deshaun Watson or Zach Wilson? Yeah.
Zach Wilson is going to be. And some scouts are saying it now. I know Sim said the other day.
Dude, it's just
the best quarterback in the draft.
Anyone can be the best quarterback in the draft. It's too tough to predict. He plays at BYU. Like, I don't know.
He plays with scrubs. Look at what he did
against scrubs, though. With scrubs, he played Coastal Carolina was his best game.
And
Chris, me, you, and our 9 closest friends can go beat Coastal Carolina. We give him a game.
Give him a game, man. It's been a while since I put the pads on it. I still don't.
I still couldn't figure it out. Like, I'm just saying, but that's what I mean. Like, Josh Allen went to Wyoming. Obviously, that's just something that's tough to predict.
Stats.
But then someone like Paxton Lynch at Memphis, where is he? What's he doing? Pumping gas? He's pumping gas,
though. He's making a leap with Joe Burrow. And he's making.
Okay, yeah, he is. He is.
Made the. Oh my God! Yeah, because Joe Burrow threw 60 touchdowns.
As my dad just said, look at Josh Allen. Who did he play against?
Exactly. No. I said that. But look at Paxton Lynch over there, in the American or whatever it's called. Pumping gas.
My dad also says if the Jets draft Zach Wilson and Najee Harris and sign Shaq Barrett and Juju, they will win the AFC East next year. I say it with a smile because I can't picture the Jets winning the AFC East.
It's a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys right there.
That's the Joe Douglas offseason.
I don't know. I mean, for every quarterback, why is he too good?
Yeah,
I don't believe in first-round running back, so I would just.
I don't like the first-round running back mentality, but what are you gonna do?
Especially guys like Zeke and stuff that go top 5. That's just ridiculous. But that'll probably never happen again.
Yes, but
show the audience your Jets hat. What a nice hat that is.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
It's been fun talking about the Jets. All right. Well, other football news. Former Raiders wide receiver Tyrell Williams signed with the Lions on a 1-year, $6 million deal. I think it's safe to say Marvin Jones, future Jet. There you go.
Bye-bye.
Marvin Jones is out. But
yeah, so we could have another receiver that plays at most 8 games a season.
You fit right in. Kenny Golladay, also a free agent, often hurt as well. I don't know what they do with him. Could franchise tag him, but like I said, he played maybe 5 games last year. So I don't know.
They're both gone, and they draft Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I think they definitely draft Waddle too. I think both gone. I don't know where that puts someone like Golladay, but yeah, that answers my question. Does this mean the team is prepared to lose both Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Golladay in free agency? I think so. I think it does. I think Jalen Waddle. You must have been researching my mock. Jalen Waddle, 7th of the Lions. There you go. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Jalen Waddle. Or they could bring back familiar face in Golden Tate.
Yeah, that's what they want to do.
I saw an article when I looked up Golden Tate today to find out how much money that the Giants saved by cutting him, which was $6 million, by the way. The top article said, should the Lions reunite with Golden Tate?
For what? What benefit?
I don't know. Just to say they ran it back. But yeah, Golden Tate released by the Giants following, he was there for 2 years, I think. Fought Jalen Ramsey once, so that was big. Yeah.
Is Ramsey dates his sister? I think so. No, is it
Golden Tate's? No, Ramsey dates his sister. Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone's dating someone's sister. Ryan, what are you looking at? What's wrong?
I just got awful news.
What? Is it Alfred Payton?
Yeah, he's playing.
I thought something happened.
Dream season.
I just got awful news. Just got off the line. Lions will take a corner, but they just did that at 4.
Yeah, they just got a coach. They're gonna take another one.
Sight screams they need another one.
They cut Desmond Trufant today.
They need a lot of everything. It doesn't matter.
They do need a lot, except for quarterback. That's taken care of.
Is it?
No. Running back.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good.
Running back is fine.
Their defense sucks though too. They need to go defense.
They just have all these former Patriots overpaid and
Yeah.
just
What do you say?
something about
Sites.
defense.
What are you yelling now, Sites?
Take a corner.
Take a corner
We
again.
already heard that.
There you go.
Patrick Surtain, right? Yeah. And then there's the other guy. Forgot his name. Virginia Tech guy. Where's Bob the stat guy?
Where's Thomas?
Either way, I think
Yeah, there's another corner out there.
I
I think they should take Waddle too. I mean, there's going to be. You got Smith, Waddle, Mac Jones, maybe Mac Jones. No, I'm trying to think. Alabama guys drafted in the first round.
No.
Najee, Mac Jones could be. I think Mac Jones is the first round.
Mac Jones will probably be at quarterback.
Yeah,
I feel
Jones
like
will
he's
be
got to
first
be right.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially for his.
guys, I think he goes to Washington at 19. If not there, I think the Bears take him at 20 because I think the Bears are just going to take the best quarterback available. I think the Bears are going to try to move up because 20 is a tough spot to be in to take such a quarterback. But we'll have to see.
What, you don't believe in Mitch?
Well, I do, but I just don't think they're going to reset. They don't believe in Mitch the way I believe in Mitch.
Free agency showcase game?
Yeah, he played well. Played well in that game. That rerun. If I were a team, I'd watch that and I'd take a stab at him. I think Mr. Trubisky might be the Bills' backup. Weird feeling. I don't. That's what Jeff was saying. You know, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, how
I think
much?
he can play somewhere, but
Yeah, that's the thing. How much are you going to want to be a
I think
backup
he
at the
could
same time?
play somewhere. Maybe not play well. Like he's serviceable. He takes teams to playoffs. He'll go in, get their butt kicked, and go out. I mean, that's just what he is. I mean, you live and die with him.
Yeah.
If you want a playoff appearance, just sign him. You're not going to win. You're not going to play great, but you need a good defense as well to do that. But he also had, Allen Robinson, who's probably one of the top 10 or 15 receivers in the NFL, and they weren't really able to get on the same page. So maybe he does suck. But
Well, who does Dan Campbell want? That guy's a beast. He probably wants.
that guy looks like he eats metal.
Eats snails for breakfast.
Yeah,
He's a tough guy.
he is. I've never seen anything like that. Dan Campbell guy, but I don't know. He might be the right guy for the job. We'll see.
I love the energy. He's a bit of a
Nut job.
nutcase.
He's got Jared Goff though, so we'll see how he works out. We're going to take our second break here. When we get back, we're going to talk about baseball. So, Chris, you might want to get out.
All right.
Just a little Aaron Boone talk and a little minor signing, Central. We'll talk when we get back. You're listening to the MJM Grand Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. We'll be right back. And we're back here on the MJM Grand Sports Talk Show. Matt Shalloe, Ryan McSpedon, Chris Neverette, and we're going to talk some baseball. Chris's favorite part of the show. Yankees manager Aaron Boone takes immediate leave of absence yesterday. He left to get a pacemaker placed in his heart, but surgery was successful. He expects to be back with the team in the coming days. Was released from the hospital today. Bench coach Carlos Mendoza sacked as manager for the time being. He was behind the bench today for the 15-0 loss. Spring training baseball, got a little messy. It's all right, happens. But yeah,
without Boone.
No, they won last night.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
1-1. And Gary hit another home run to the surprise of some, not me.
Yawn.
Oh my God! How about it throwing the guy out from his knees?
Yawn.
But yeah, Booney recovered. He's gonna be back in the coming days. That's impressive.
The buck doesn't stop.
The buck sucks. That's why the buck is unemployed. The buck is on ESPN, and yes, and that's he's old,
man.
But
you guys know I'd kill for a manager like Buck Showalter. Old school, would bring winning back to the team.
Chris, can I get your thoughts on Gary Sanchez?
I like him more than Sped. I mean,
sucks.
2 home runs in 2 days. And a line out to center. He's making contact. He's seeing the ball, letting the ball get deep. Top 5 catcher in baseball.
Oh.
Well, power. I mean, I don't know. It's not hard to be a top 5 catcher in baseball. Really.
I mean,
that is true.
Is he DHing this year?
No, he's catching because Giancarlo Stanton has DH on lock. Can't play the field anymore. He hit the age of 30, so it's too old.
Stan struck out at 3 pitches last night? See ya.
3, and then I believe 4 after that. 3 or 4
Nice.
pitches.
He's back.
Frazier struck out again. Or today, Frazier struck out twice. 2 of his bats, and not much was going on today, but it's all right.
Well, that's spring training. That's the thing.
March 4th.
This is worse than watching preseason NBA and football games.
Preseason football really gets me going though. Like when the starters
Well,
are for
yeah,
2 series, but then no, I like watching.
Get excited for preseason.
I like watching the first 2 innings of spring training baseball because you get to see whoever's starting throw, and then the first at bat for the guys, and then obviously when the bench rolls, it's like. But you also can't read too much into it. But for a guy like Gary, I feel like you can because he had such a it's nice to see him making contact because he didn't do that last year. Like there's different guys you read into and guys that you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if someone like LeMahieu hits 150 in spring, it's like okay, who cares? He'll be fine. But like someone like Gary, if he were to hit 350 in spring, I think that would surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. But at the end of the day, none of it matters. Yeah, I mean he could hit 350 with 10. I mean Greg Bird, look at him, spring training MVP twice. Didn't he hit 12 home runs the one year? Hit 400.
Yeah, him and what's his face? Tyler Wade loves spring training too. He's Mr. 300 in spring.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously it doesn't mean too much, but for someone like Gary, I think it would just be nice to see, and maybe he can get on a roll coming into the season, but probably not. Jackie Bradley Jr. with the Brewers. I think I got the update at 4 a.m. So I don't know what he's doing up, but he's signing contracts. That's what he's doing. 2 years.
Doesn't like that they wait so long to sign.
Well, someone like Bradley Jr. I don't know why he waited so long. I guess he's just not that good, but he ends up getting $24 million for 2 years. Great defensive player, average bat. Does hold that 30-game hitting streak, though, to his name. He'll never take that away a couple years ago. And he's a World Series champion. And now he'll be in center. You move Lorenzo Cain over to right. Pretty good defensive outfield. And then obviously Yelich left. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Free agency is very slow, Chris. I do agree with you there.
No, I mean, I think it's just ridiculous. Spring training has already started, and now you're going to add this guy. Not that it'll make a world's difference, considering.
Well, that's what it really sucked. We talked about on Tuesday, Jake Odorizzi, the pitcher from the Twins, and he's still unsigned. And with pitchers, it's different because they a guy Garrett Cole through last week. Your first start, you throw 20 pitches and you go up from there. The longer a pitcher waits to sign, the longer he'll have to go to extended spring, and then he won't be able to pitch until May. It's I don't know why these guys wait that long unless they actually have 0 offers on the table. I don't know. A hitter, I feel like it'll be easier, but still, it is kind of annoying that you're joining spring late. I don't know, but it's weird. It goes very slow. But yeah, Jackie Bradley Jr. is a Brewer. So we get into our locks.
Yep.
Me and Ryan are 11-9, leading the way. Chris, you're at 8-8. Steve Brian Hayes will have a McCutcheon-like impact on the Pittsburgh Pirates as they win probably 48 games. Yeah.
What'd you say? 52 wins?
I have them at. Hold on, I'll check my thing. I'm pretty sure I have them at 52 though. 56. We're getting 56 from the back.
56 from sides.
Mickey Brian Hayes is good.
45.
I actually did. Me and Ryan were talking about it. I looked up the most losses in a season is 120. Might be Jeopardy. I don't think it will be. That's a lot of losses. You'd have to win 42 games, right? I do that math right. That's that would be impressive, but not in a good way. I believe I had them at 53 though. Hold on, let me see. Yes, 52 and 110. And then the second worst team I had was the Rockies at 61 and 101. Ooh, yeah. I think they're going to trade Story. Like that, part of that went into that. And their pitching no one really pitches well in Colorado. It's just unfair with the air. But anyways, locks of the night. Like I said, Chris, you're at 8-8. You broke the tie with Bot, who lost both his other night. He's at 7-9.
8-8 on locks, disgusting.
That is pretty disgusting, actually.
Chris.
But like we said, Chris has split every single time, which is also impressive. That's hard to do. Just go 1-1 every day. But all right, we'll start with Bots. He has Vandy at Cincinnati. He's going to take Cincinnati -7. Interesting pick there. I don't know where that comes from. Like for me, that'd be a flip of a coin. I don't know anything about either of those teams. Then he has over 220 in the Toronto Raptors at the Boston Celtics. Coming off an 0-2 night, see if he can, got to win both, try to get back for the week. But after that, I'll leave it to you, Chris. Let's see what you got, buddy.
All right. Well, I could just take the easy lock and bet against the Sabres, but we're going to go to the hardwood again. Try not to split again tonight.
Islanders -1.5 is good, though.
All right. We've got Carmelo Anthony, over 2.5 3-points made, plus 135. Melo's automatic. He's had a great stretch of games past couple of weeks. And then don't start.
Stop. Grow up.
Yeah. And then we've got under 235.5 in the Milwaukee-Memphis game.
Okay, so Melo over 2.5 threes. And what, can you repeat that one for me, buddy?
Under 235.5 Milwaukee at Memphis.
What's your thinking behind that one?
I just think that Milwaukee's good enough on defense that you're not going to allow enough points for that total to hit.
All right, I'll go. Now, I don't know. I have 3. I'm trying to narrow it down to 2 right now. And I had Philadelphia -125 on the money line at Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby's back though, and Pittsburgh did beat them up. Beat up on them pretty good 2 nights ago. So I'm not going to touch that one. I have 2 basketball picks, 1 college, 1 NBA. Portland -4.5, hosting Sacramento. Like that one a lot. Sacramento played last night. Both teams played last night, but Sacramento coming off the win last night, I should say, of the Lakers, LeBronless Lakers. And Portland, I think, they ended up beating Golden State, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they did.
So both teams coming off wins. Portland, like I said, will win by more than 4 tonight. And I'm going to take Oklahoma State on the road at Baylor +12. That just seems like a lot to me. Baylor almost lost to Iowa State, like we talked about coming out.
They've been shooting real poorly out of their COVID
since their layoff. And 12 just seems like a lot to me, especially against an Oklahoma State team who just beat Oklahoma twice. They're up to 17th in the rankings with another win against Oklahoma this week, so, trending upwards. I don't know. And then Baylor, obviously, they lost that game to Kansas Saturday. And then, who was it? West Virginia, right? West Virginia took them to overtime. They ended up winning. So I don't know. That was 2 nights ago. Let's see. I think 12 is just a lot of points to cover, and I don't necessarily think Oklahoma State will win. I think they'll lose maybe by 5 to 8, somewhere in that range. So I'm going to go with that one. And like I said, I'm going to throw the Penguins-Flyers bet out the window. Brian?
Besides there is Alfred Payton active. McSpedon wants word with management. I don't know why he plays. He should be traded or at least fake his injury because he stinks. But with that being said,
does that mean you're taking Pistons money line?
No, yeah.
-7 at home tonight.
I just hated on this team's starting point guard, but I think they're going to win by 1-7.
Well, that's because Emmanuel, and as much as Alfred stinks, quickly will do the job. And Randall is due for a bounce back after they're all due for a bounce back after the way they played Tuesday night, and they demolished the Pistons Sunday night. So let's go Knicks -7. And then we're going to go in hockey. We're going to go with because I always like to do one basketball, one hockey. So in the NHL, we're going to go with Carolina at home against the Red Wings. I want to say,
take 1.5.
Take the goal line?
Yeah, you got to.
Too big of a lock. Too easy of a lock.
That's unfair.
What did you say?
300.
-300. That's true.
But all right, you know what? Yeah, Carolina to win by 2 goals or more against the Wings. I like it.
If they don't, we can shave your head.
Stop.
Sites he's 1-2, so don't really listen. But Dayton minus 3.5 already won, so like thanks for that.
So 2-2.
Yeah,
And win drop minus 13.5 versus Longwood, the Big South semis. I think there's like 8 people out there that care about that game, and you're one of them. So we'll see. There's money to be won. So
that's
we'll
1-800 gamble right there.
We will be back on Tuesday with Chris. I think Scott's doing the whole switch thing, but Chris
again, yay!
I'll be ready to go.
Chris is always ready if his number's called. Back next week on Tuesday, as the screen says. You have listened to the MJM Grand Sports Talk Show on WSBU The Buzz. Go Sabres.
Go Bonnies.
We'll be back Tuesday. Go Rangers 2 tonight. Go Knicks. Go Bonnies. Yes, we'll be back.